What's up, everybody? It's your boy Zen, one third of the SOS podcast. Um, I hadn't heard any word from B or anything, and there's no guest tonight, so I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. But I do want to touch on some things first, and well, most importantly, Solstice Volume 2 coming out soon. Okay, I just uploaded it to Distro, so yeah, man. Another three piece for the summer, you know what I'm saying? To remind y'all that summertime does belong to Tenzen, Tenzen, just in case y'all need further clarification. Also, this Friday, I'll be at our bar debuting one of the new tracks from that song. So I hope everyone's excited for that. I personally can't wait. I was supposed to be at our bar on the 29th, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, I want to say last week, something happened with the water main. So that part of Atlanta, the city had to shut the water off. So that way, the people who work, like the city workers, can come and, fix it basically. So as far as I know, hopefully there's no water main issues this week. I think they did clear them all because I remember I get texts from the sheriffs, and they're like, oh yeah, we're also going to be affecting the building you work at, so have fun. But they usually did it outside of business hours, so it didn't really affect me much. um Also, another personal thing, just keep my family in your thoughts. My great uncle Michael passed away last week. Um, well, last Thursday. So I mean, it'll be a week ago tomorrow. So I'll be traveling up to Louisville with my mom and grandma for his funeral, which it'll be my first time being in Louisville for quite some time. Like, gosh, dog. Actually, when was the last time I was in the city of Louisville? I mean, the last time I was in the state of Kentucky, it was definitely like either 2021 or 2022, one of them. So yeah, so I mean, it's been at least like maybe 4 to 5 years since I've been in the state of Kentucky in general. But yeah, this will be my first time in a while being back in Louisville. So that's going to be interesting. But I get to meet some family members whom I haven't seen since my uncle Euron died. So yeah, that's man, it's crazy. Um, just the idea of death, right? Like, just be chilling, having a good time, just be happy. And all of a sudden here comes your douchebag brain reminding you, oh hey, you're gonna die one day, right? It's like, oh well fuck. Now that's like a whole like rabbit hole of like, what ifs and all that. Like, that you have to personally go through because oh, I got distracted. I was supposed to I got you. Hold on. But yeah, it's like what the fuck, man. You gotta think about all this shit now. And especially like, especially getting news about someone and love dying, it's like, damn. And it seems to be the same pattern, at least now, obviously, just from my limited, human perspective. And but yeah, it seems to be like this weird pattern where it's like all the men that I've seen to have lost within my family it was always like the same thing. It was just like, what? I mean, he was just fine. What the fuck happened? My grandfather, like when he got took to the hospital, you know, yeah, he was talking, in a good mood, all that, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, he does not, yeah, he's no longer among the living. I'm like, really? And the hurtful thing about my grandfather dying was I had to find that out through voicemail because I was in school. I was in class, I think. So when I was listening to the voicemail, it's like, "Hey, Marcus, your grandfather passed away," and I was like, "Dang." Well, Tenzin. Sorry, I dead named myself. Hold on. Okay. So so yeah, man, it was just so surreal. Also, like, my uncle, same thing. It was like, oh, yeah, like, I mean, well, shoot, I remember when one of his friends came in and took him to the hospital. I'm over here thinking, okay, he's gonna be fine. And I called him that night just to check on him, just to see if they're keeping him or not. And they said, yeah, they're keeping me. And I was able to tell him that I loved him. He told me, hey, I love you too. That was literally my last conversation with him. And same thing, like, oh yeah, you're on. He was laughing, joking with the doctors, man, cutting up, having a good time. Next thing we knew, his condition just kind of went for the worse. Um, then yeah, he just didn't make it out of there. Then now my uncle Michael, same thing. It was like, I reached out to some family out there. They were like, "Oh yeah, he was cool the night before." Yeah, I talked to him I talked to him the night before, and yeah, he seemed fine to me. But yeah, then I guess you know the next day, he decided to leave, and now with unfortunately, his wife didn't, she opted out of doing any sort of like autopsies or anything. So I guess we'll never know what actually took my uncle Michael out. I mean, if I was to guess, I mean, I'd probably have to say it was, he had to have hip surgery. So I had to say it was probably that. Like the older you get, I mean, well, surgeries are a risk in general, but I mean, the older you get, the the more of a risk it is. Um, so that's that. So so yeah, death is so strange. It's like, whether it be like losing somebody or just one of these days you just be thinking about it because obviously nobody knows what happens after you die. I mean, now some people will claim to know, but they're lying to you. Um, but now you but people have all these different beliefs. With some beliefs, I hope you're not right. And then there's other beliefs, I'm like, you know what, I can be cool with that. Like, if it's just a reincarnation thing, like this body dies and then next thing you're just being born as someone or something else somewhere else. And you just don't remember this life until you, I guess, reach some sort of like consciousness to where you can remember all your lives and be like, wow, this is the lessons I needed to learn. I mean, I can get jiggy with that. But then it's like then there's other beliefs that's like, oh, you get eternal paradise. Or you get eternal torture. Which I mean, both options suck. I mean, I guess I would rather choose the eternal paradise because it's like, well, at least I'm not getting hurt. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's like either one, you'll just get used to it. Like, hold on. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting text messages. But yeah, but I feel like either way, you'll just get used to it, and especially like the eternal paradise is just like, okay, what? You're just there? And I guess the people who didn't make it there, you're like, damn, man, they gotta suffer. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. But, I often wonder, like, especially my loved ones, like what are they currently going through? If they're going through anything. Like I mean, as far as I know, I mean, I mean, I guess it just ends, you know, but then, most people say, death is a beginning. So I don't know, man. Yeah, this is a tough concept.
Yo, 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 what's up?
Hey, B.
Man? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second. What's up, everybody? We out here, you know what it is. Another Wednesday night. But yeah, what we got going on?
Oh, I was just talking about, the recent passing of my great uncle. So I was just
Yeah,
like I just kind of got stun locked just talking about the concept of death and
no,
everything.
for sure.
But yeah, I was just, but I was just saying like, damn, like it seems like most of when I say most, the three men in my life who I
Right,
really cared about, it just seemed to always be the same pattern. It's like, oh yeah, they were just fine. But all of a sudden they're, oh well, never mind, they're not here no more. It was like,
right.
damn, what happened? So
Yeah, that's like that was something. Even when I was younger, always that always kept me up at night. That it could be so instant. You know what I mean? Like I think the
right,
first time I ever really encountered something similar to that was when my cousin Andre got killed back when I was a little kid. I think I'm trying to remember how old I was when Andre died. I think I was like either 7 or 8, maybe a little bit older, but it was somewhere in that range. And this is somebody. Granted, I ain't seen him all the time, obviously, because we weren't like
right,
close, but like, this is somebody. This is ingrained into the family. You know what I mean? Like cookouts and stuff over the summer. I'd seen,
yeah,
and I always remember like when my mom sat me down and told me like that he got shot, and I was like that like was that like yeah, it's so sudden. You know what it is? You know what I mean? Like it's like the concept of that could just happen to anybody overnight.
right.
Crazy.
Yeah, damn. I mean, I'm pretty sure you told me about him before, but anyway, yeah, my condolences about that. And that, I don't like. Well, if you can remember that far back, I mean, that had to. I mean, because he was probably 6 or 7, so it's like when you're that young, like mortality just isn't a
Right.
thing to you. So you're just like, wait, hold on. So is he okay? Like, no, he's not.
Right.
Like, is he coming back? Not necessarily. It's like, huh? Like what was
And it was
like?
crazy
I
too
guess what was
because
that
it
like?
had been
Just the years
it.
following, like just not seeing them and stuff. Like,
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, like I said, he was older than me, so like it's not like we hung out all the time or not. And I was more on the age range with his younger brother, and so, but it was just weird.
okay,
It was like I could definitely, as a kid, could feel like the fact that he just wasn't there no more. Like when my cousin and his sister would show up. I was like, you low key expected to see, oh well, Andre's about to come to the door, and like he's not with them this time. You know what I mean? So like that was hard for me as a kid. Is like trying to process like, cause I'd been to funerals up like at that point when I was younger, but like that was the first time I remember where it was like, oh, this was somebody in my life that's just not here no more.
right. Uh, cause let me see, like, well, yeah, I didn't necessarily have to. I didn't really have experiences with death like that at such a young age. I mean, I think when I was that age, I remember when I was in Pittsburgh, it was like a member, it was like a family member of Laurie's or something.
Okay.
I remember, I guess we went to a funeral and I saw the guy in the casket, but I did not understand that because that was my first
Right.
time being in a funeral. I was like, is he asleep?
Right.
I was like, why did I ask that? But I was 7 years old. But she was like, in a way, yes, Marcus, but he's dead. I was like,
Right.
dead? I was like, like y'all looking at a dead person. I never
Right.
been to a funeral before that. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Okay.
Nah,
It was
nah,
so
for
weird. It
real.
was like,
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, it's just an odd feeling. But like, like I said, I think at that point I've been to a couple of funerals before. Yeah, but there was always older members of the family. You know what I mean? and these were people
Right.
I didn't really know. And I think yeah, why that one was so significant was like I'm just like Andre wasn't old. You know what I mean? Like Andre is Andre to me. So it's just like I'm like oh, and it had
Yeah,
been a
like
little
was
while.
he was a young adult?
Yeah. Crap. It's been so long. I can't remember exactly what age he was when he died. So I don't want to like get it like
Oh, okay.
wrong.
Like was he in his 20s still?
I'd say if he made it to his 20s, he was very early 20s. You
Okay,
know,
okay, yeah. So
yeah,
still very young. Like, yeah.
yeah. And like I said, that's if he was in his 20s. Like I said, I can't remember exactly when it happened. Like I said, I was young, I remember, but like I was still old enough. I was saying, I'm trying to like, I think it's hard for me to remember what age I was when he died. I was old enough to still have memories of him in my life. You know what I mean? And I remember his voice and stuff like that. But like, I was like young enough to for it to be so long ago that like I can't really remember. You know what I mean? So I said I wish I could remember the exact year he died, but I can't off the top of my head right now. But yeah, but like that was like yeah, that was crazy. And it's plus it had been a little while since I had seen him. I think that was another thing that was odd for me as a kid was like it had been a little bit since I had seen him last. So when he was in the coffin, he looked a bit different than how I remember. I
Right.
think he had grew out a beard, and so I remember like having this experience. I mean, I never like I didn't make no big deal about it, or I didn't really say it to anybody at the time. But I do remember when I was a kid, I seen him in the coffin, and I was like, "Oh, that's not Andre." You know what I mean? Like I think I remember telling like either my uncle or maybe Mr. Rich. You probably remember that's my mom's friend. He was there.
He
Uh,
was he like light skinned, had a beard?
yeah, Mr. Rich.
Okay, I
Yeah,
remember him. Yeah.
yeah. I think I remember telling him like at the funeral, I was like, that's not Andre. You know what I mean? Like I was like, that ain't Andre. Like they got the wrong guy. You know what I mean? Like so. Uh, but yeah, no, it is crazy, man.
I mean, I feel that because looking at your aunt in the casket, like I mean, well, I knew it was him, but it's like I don't know. It's something about after they're done dressing the body up, it's like it just looks so fake. Like it just looks, you know, yeah, like they don't look like themselves,
Right,
but it's them.
right.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's yeah, like, mm.
No,
Yeah, and oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, the other like crazy thing was like, obviously it's not the exact same, but I will say I felt similar feelings when it came to my family members who had Alzheimer's and stuff.
Mm,
So I guess like, not in terms of like them just being dead, because obviously they wasn't dead yet, but the experience of you had said it just a little bit ago of the feeling of like that person who is like they're just gone and you're not really gonna see them anymore. I remember
yeah.
feeling a similar feeling with some of those family members, like my grandma and her sister. Um, is it like kind of like, oh, okay, well they didn't like, they obviously they wasn't dead, but there was a certain point down the line where it felt like, oh, that person who I grew up with is just not there anymore.
Right. And,
So that was an
yeah,
odd feeling with that too.
yeah, especially if it's like a family member that you're kind of close to. I mean, because you're, like my uncle you're on lived with us. Like he was literally the room across from mine, and I know your
Hmm.
grandma lived with y'all. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's like being used to hearing, seeing, like hugging on that person, like almost on the daily, and it's just like, oh, well, shit, like
right.
like. like I look back, I look across to his room, and it's just
Right.
a place where a dude used to stay. Like
Uh-huh. No, I 100% feel you. I remember when we was cleaning out my grandma's house a couple years ago, and like, when we was going through the stuff, it was nuts because it was like that same feeling of like, granted she hadn't lived in that house for a while, but like it was that same feeling of like, oh, like she's really not here anymore. Like she's gone. You know what I mean? Like like all the times with her and like for instance, well actually it was double cleaning out her house because my uncle used to live there with her, my uncle Clyde, and so by that
oh
point they was both
yeah,
gone. You know what I mean? So it
right.
was a double
So seeing
thing on that.
so seeing some of his stuff and then seeing some of her stuff, yeah, those memories, yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
me, it's like you know, because I used to roll my uncle a lot, so for me, sometimes it's like you drive. I would drive down a familiar street. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like
Mm-hmm.
or listen to a certain song. You're like, oh yeah, he liked that. You
Right.
know?
Right. Nah, for real, exactly. It's
And
yeah, man, it's nuts. Like that,
yeah,
like that. I think it's part of grief, but I don't. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's considered grief or what. It's just like that feeling that nothing is the same anymore. You know?
hmm yeah, like and this, and I always say it's like you don't necessarily get over it. It's just an easier weight to carry over time. Um,
Hear me?
and yeah, and yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, my
yeah.
feed was acting crazy. But go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, I was gonna say, and just sorry about that. Just harking back to what you said earlier about how you know how quick and instantaneous life can end. Like my algo sometimes. I notice like if I'm scrolling through a lot of reels, like somehow, some way, like my algo start pulling out like live leak shit.
Yeah.
So it's like so you're seeing like car accidents,
Uh huh.
motherfuckers, dying in the heat of the moment because they went to go fight somebody, but the other nigga had a
Yep.
gun or something. And it's just like, damn, man. And it's like, and that's like one of the scariest things because that's literally anything that can happen to anybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can merge without looking, you know, well meaning, but yeah, like that
Right.
can cause another guy to what's that word?
I
I
think
forgot.
if you talking about like when
Not
you're
tell.
this, like this,
Yeah,
T-bone.
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, like the back of your car swipes them, and yeah, like I could. It's the pit like kind of like when officers do that
Oh,
pit
like a
maneuver.
pit
You
maneuver
know?
type thing. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. So like
so
I
not a
could.
full on T-bone, but like a
Right, right.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't,
saying like I could be negligent and do that, then sure, like lose control, being a 8 car pileup or something. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Or like not knowing that's gonna be my last day, or
Uh huh.
my emotions could be up to here, and I
Yeah.
could be arguing with somebody. Then next thing I know, I don't exist because they shot me. You know what I'm saying? So
Ain't
it's
that the
like,
scariest thing? That's why it's like you know I've had people over almost my entire lifetime come to me straight up and ask me like, "Yo, you're big as hell." Which like that I mean that I ain't delusional. I am. You know what I mean? Like, you're big as fuck. And I don't and I've heard and they'll be like, yo, I hear people say stuff about you all the time. Why don't you just start knocking people in their teeth and stuff? And I was just like, the reality of it is like, you know, A, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but B, you never know what somebody else is
right,
on. You know what I mean? Like that's like the scariest part about any of them interactions. I could be 100% in the right. Somebody come up, start talking crazy, or even like shove my shoulder or something like that, and let's say I do steal off on dude, he pull out a knife or a gun and it's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you
Yeah,
never know. You
especially
know what I mean?
like
It's like
that
I'd
type of
much
dude who don't
rather
want to take
just
an
take the
L.
exactly. I would much rather see. I think what it is even though it does bother me because people think it don't. I think one of those things I've come to grips with is the fact that as much as it hurts and as much as I get insulted, you know what I mean? I'd much rather take the emotional L over the physical one. You know, I will gladly walk away with the egg on my face before I ever just lose my temper and start fighting somebody. Because even if I win, essentially I lose. You know what I mean? It's just like because I'm not
Right.
going to jail for no assault charge either. Like and then
Mhm.
that's the and I hate to say it this way too. That's the positive outcome is going to jail for the assault charge.
Yeah,
Again, the other thing is like you
and,
said, somebody who don't want to take a L start shooting or
mhm.
stabbing. I mean, shoot, there's so many. Here in Pittsburgh, there's an area with a lot of bars and stuff on the south side. It was over on the south side. It's called East Carson Street. And well, granted, I mean, the city did something to kind of address it this summer, but like for years,
Mhm.
it was known for people getting shot up and fighting and stabbed over there.
God
Every
damn.
weekend and everything. It's because people walking around with massive chips on their shoulders. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
crazy. My mom always told us growing up. She taught all three of us. 30-second decisions can impact your whole life. She said, whenever
Yep.
something happened, whenever you know you feel like acting upon anything, wait 30 seconds because in them 30 seconds could be the difference between you living your life normally and you either being dead or in jail. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
think I've taken that with me my whole life. And don't be wrong, there are times I wish I did use them 30 seconds for another outcome.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm happy of the way I've used my 30 seconds over the years because I ain't got no criminal record and I ain't got no injuries either. So I'm, you know, granted,
I
knock on
mean,
wood, 28 years old, hoping to go the next 28 without it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. 'Cause I was just about to say. I mean, a very relevant example. I mean, you know, Anthony versus Metcalf, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know, and I'm not necessarily, trying to blame the victim, but
right,
because it can go for anybody. But let's just say if Austin took 30 seconds, it was like, hey, what fucking with him for? Yeah,
right,
come on in this tent, man. Whatever. You
right.
from the enemy team. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was probably just. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there. I don't know if it was like racially motivated, whatever that scuffle
Yeah.
was. But
Well, it's
I
like
mean,
according to
that
the
kind of
rumors,
probably.
it probably was, but like, and then
Uh,
again, it could have been a other thing
could
too
have been like, oh, you're
of
you're just from another school. Fuck you. Like
that,
like
or
yeah,
it very well could have been his boys in his ear hyping him up. Oh, there you go over there.
mhm,
You just gonna let him sit under a tent like that, Austin? You just gonna let
right.
him you know what I mean? Like like it could
Yeah,
have been that too. And he had his brother and his two homeboys hyping him up. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I mean it's like I said, if either one of them had taken that 30 seconds, you know what I mean? Same thing was like, don't get me wrong, legally, I think Carmelo was railroaded. But at the end of the day, if I'm talking on a person
oh
to
yeah. I
person
mean,
level,
that's definitely not a first degree. Like I
yeah, for
mean,
sure.
yeah,
But if I was on a person to
they just
person
need to retry
level,
that.
you know, after he gets out and gets off, if I was one of his older family members, I would just talk to him and be like, yo, I mean, you should have just ran. You know what I mean? Before they started jumping you. Now, after they started jumping him, I yeah, fuck that. That's where I was talking about in terms of how he was railroaded.
Yeah.
After they started jumping him, fuck that shit. Somebody getting stabbed. Like, you know what I mean? But like, you
Right.
know, there was a point where he could have taken the 30 seconds and walked away before the jumping, you know. But, you know, like I
Mhm.
said, that's where there's a difference between legally
And the yeah, legal and moral, yeah.
about
See.
again.
Think oh yeah, you for a bit. But
It's this
you
my
back?
I got this old laptop and the airplane mode decides to switch off and on all the time. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So yeah, but yeah, man, you know, stuff that type of stuff, man, it's crazy. I
Right. And, yeah, and to our audience out there, but it's so hard though, because obviously, you know, anybody, black, white, Hispanic, man, woman, whatever, like we gonna live and die by this respect. Because I mean,
yeah,
you're like, yeah, you want to be respected. You don't want to be no push around. You don't want to be no shove
right.
over, whatever. But yeah, man, to our audience, man, definitely learn how to pick a battle. I
Oh,
mean,
for
went from talking
sure.
about like normal death to like like death being caused. But yeah, man, definitely learn to pick your battles on some situations. But I know sometimes people will just have you just fucked up, but
Right,
still, as B's mom said, man, 30 seconds. 30 seconds is all you need.
right. For real. Well, like I said, it goes both ways. Like I'll say, in a complete honesty with myself, this is something I've had to come to grips with over the years. I definitely took the extreme on the other end, and I've let over the years people get away with stuff, that I shouldn't have, thinking that I had to just, you know, appease everybody. You know what I mean? And as an
Right, yeah.
adult, I do realize that was probably the wrong way to go. But I was always so scared of being one of them stories that I just figured I had to let a lot of stuff go. And so yeah, it can go bad the other way. I think, as it comes with maturity, you find your way,
Hmm.
wherever which way. You know what I mean? And I'm still fumbling and stumbling through that and trying my best, trying to take my respects here and there, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a balance. You don't want to be no crash out, but you don't want to be kicked forever either.
Right. Like, another good, you know, relevant example to that. Rampage's son. He was, yeah, I'm sure you heard the story. He was at this
Yeah.
wrestling event. One of the
Mm-hmm.
wrestlers, like he thought, and to that other wrestler's, to his defense, he thought that he knew that he was part of the show. He thought he was working too.
Yeah.
And now the thing was, like, he apologized to him and all that. But, one of the wrestlers, one of the other wrestlers, no, not the victim, but one of the other wrestlers went to, what's his name? Quentin Jackson?
Uh, his son. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Quentin.
Okay. Yeah, they went up to Quentin and was like, hey, you can get your lick back. You know what I'm saying? But that was the thing. He just
Yeah.
said, hey, yo, just get your lick back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that other wrestler probably thought, okay, yeah, he's gonna just do something equivalent.
Yeah.
But I swear, like, homie let his chat, because he was streaming, he let his chat kind of get
Yeah.
in his head, like, oh, you gonna let him do that, bro? Like, oh, well, you a bitch? Like, nah, I ain't
I
a
know.
motherfucking bitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just started wailing on the dude in the ring, like, which when
Yeah.
nobody was expecting him to do that. Like, luckily the dude survived.
Right.
but yeah, and luckily Quentin is the son of a celebrity because like a regular nigga would have got it way worse. But I think
Mm-hmm.
he has to do like what some community service, also pay restitution, which was a heavy fine, but still like a
I
normal
mean,
nigga would
yeah,
have just been
like they
behind bars.
wanted they wanted to put him in jail. Like, you know what I mean? Like they was pursuing like jail time. I think was like the
I
original
mean,
outcome.
and it would have been warranted. I mean, just from a legal standpoint, I mean, it would have been
Right,
warranted. But luckily, yeah, like he had some protections going on for him. Like,
right,
so he was able to at least. I mean, now, I mean, like I said, like the monetary payout. I mean, that was
right.
pretty. That's pretty a good sum. But you know, hey, at least he's on the outside.
Exactly. Yeah, he ain't locked up. That's like the real thing. At least he ain't clinked up. That's like he's lucky.
Man, but speaking of people who ain't so lucky, excuse me, telling my fellow Democrats up in Maine, I'm sorry,
Uh,
like, like, damn, man, like that nigga was so promising. Um,
yeah.
but if you haven't heard, Graham Platner has a very credible rape accusation against him, and it
Now
seems
this
like
is a new
the
one, right?
DNC.
This ain't the first chick. Cause the first chick I
No, no,
remember.
this is a yeah, I think this was like an ex girlfriend of his or something.
Okay,
She
okay.
accused
Because the
him
first
of
one they was
yeah.
claiming. I remember like because like I think like Sam Cedarnon was claiming that like oh this is a chick who's like a Republican and stuff, and she was like using it just to take him down and everything, which like was already kind of crazy anyway. But like you know that's what they were saying, and then so yeah, if this is a new woman, then yeah, that's like bad, bad. But he had been on. I'll be honest with you. See, this is where like I kind of have not made the full jump over to the 100% leftist side because like I feel like a lot of them like want to shit on Democrats so bad to the point that they'll just let a lot of shit go. You know what I mean? Or like ignore a lot of shit because when it came to him, bruh, I mean, so the Nazi tattoo thing was the first thing. But like to be honest with you, actually, even before the Nazi tattoo thing, I'm gonna be for real. I was having issues with him mainly because him and a lot of other like white far to the left people have been doing this thing over the past like year when they're campaigning. They're like, I guess it's them trying to do like the whole big tent strategy, but they'll do this thing where they're like, oh, it's not about race. There's no such thing as a race war. It's a class war and stuff like that. And it's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
or it's like they're like, there'll be like some dude who'll be at their rally shouting crazy stuff, and then they'll be like, no, let's listen to what he has to say. He's just misguided. And I think because that dude who beat Jasmine Crockett, I remember seeing him say some stuff like that too. I think one of my issues when it comes to that is like they're on the right track, but I think where I get a bit upset as a black person is trying to explain away all hateful racist bigotry as oh they're just poor and misguided. Like no, like I can understand being poor and misguided, but when you jump to some of the stuff that a lot of them people have said and done, you had to be racist to begin with too, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, and I think so. That was one of my issues with Graham Platner. First off, then the Nazi tattoo thing came, and then finding out that he was like a former Black Rock mercenary and everything. And I'm,
Yeah.
but then like, but why Kam- Kamala is evil because she didn't stop the genocides, even though she was only vice president. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't know. That's where I was having trouble with people like Hassan and a lot of like far to the left people were because like this. I mean, this dude had a lot of credible, crazy stuff surrounding him, and I thought it was kind of nuts that nobody was calling it out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely heard about the I mean, well, there were people calling it out, but yeah, like, because there was an influencer that I watched. He was willing to look past, the mercenary stuff and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like once this rape allegation came, he was like, all right, bro, Jesus Christ. Like, but I feel you, like, 'cause, like, in a sense, yes. Like, they are correct. It is a class thing, but I mean, racism is very, very prevalent if it can be used to trick
Right.
poor racist hokies into, voting against their own. So yeah, like we gotta fight racism too. Like white supremacy is a problem.
Right.
And so to be able to say, oh well, let's not worry about the white supremacists, they're just poor and stupid. Okay, but what about the rich and racist ones? Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like they're the ones, manipulating the poor
Well, even
into
with the poor,
committing,
stupid ones, though,
you know.
like again, my issue is even with the poor and stupid ones, though, it's like cool. Yeah, you're poor and stupid, and you're being manipulated. Cool, but what are they using to manipulate you? They're using your prejudice and hatefulness to
Yeah.
manipulate you. So that was already there. You're just letting it be used to control you for political identity. You know what I mean? It's just like so. Yeah, that's where I was starting to get. And like I said, it was mainly a lot of white, far to the left people who was going around doing stuff like this. Where I kind of just be like, all right, bro, like I mean, it's just like, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I said I do think that a lot of this wave of far to the left candidates winning is very good. I'm not going to say
Mhm.
it's not, but I think one of my hesitations is I think with a lot of people of that ilk is like they're so quick to dunk and shit on like Democrats that like I don't know. I feel like they just let a lot of like they let a lot of people get swept up and they let a lot of people get accepted that shouldn't be accepted. I don't know. I guess that's kind of my thing. But is what it is. Hopefully, I think they said there's somebody else who Jordan Wood. I think they was saying that there's like another person who could possibly like you know be the replacement for Platner. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not familiar with uh their candidates up there, but
Okay.
but yeah, they said that I think there's somebody else who could possibly, like, yeah, it was like some guy named Jordan Wood, but
Mm.
yeah, I will say it is sad though. Like, I'm not gonna say it's not. Like, it is definitely sad that so many people was hoping and praying for a guy like him. Because on paper, he had all the right stuff. He was like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Like his
like blue
politics was on
collar,
point. It's just
yeah, blue
damn. Like
collar, blue collar leftist dude who was ex-military and everything. But I think another thing that had me worried for him was like a lot of his uh a lot of his image gave me flashbacks of John Fetterman, and I think like I was scared he was going to be another John Fetterman, because John
oh,
Fetterman
okay.
also, I mean, that's one of the reasons he won is because he put on the whole leftist mask and everything. Like, he was the unassuming working class dude from Braddock, who was going to represent Pennsylvania. Then he got up there and lost his mind, like straight up, like lost, and to the point that he gets invited to Mar-a-Lago and be hanging out with Trump and stuff like that.
See. Now, did I see a hill turn for Platner? No. I mean, like I said, I've been seeing like the rumblings, like, I don't know, especially from like, leftist people who are like black and other people of color. They're like, they're like, they're kind of already on the fence about them. But I was just like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, so I mean, that's why I wasn't like on like I wasn't fully Graham Plattner
Mm-hmm.
pilled, but at the same time, I was like, well, he's in Maine, and I guess what was the other choice? Like some ineffective, lady, I guess. Like I don't
Right.
know. So, and I don't know. It's like now I know he's being pressured to drop out, but like, well, I mean, it'll be within his best interest. But like, I guess like, could he just remain in the race anyway? Like, but
Yeah.
like, would he win? Because all the Republican do got to do is be like, oh, well,
I think he dropped out today
okay,
though.
oh, okay, good, all right, all right. So yeah, so now they gotta. So you said like that Jordan Wood dude might be the most likely replacement.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, so, like I say, who knows? I'm not familiar with Maine's like people running, but like from what I heard, I think there was people, especially when this all broke today, there were people talking about, oh, there's a guy named Jordan Wood who might be the next guy to go up. So who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? It's like, yeah, like I said, I guess people just got to do a bit better with discerning, who they
And
want
you
to
know what's crazy? Like,
support. But then again, you'll never know stuff. Well, I mean, not even just people. I mean, the Progressive Caucus or whoever was supporting him should have did a better job in terms of vetting him too. Like, I don't know. I feel like,
I mean, with that many skeletons in the closet already, I mean, I'm surprised he got the nomination, but I mean, he grew
well, they said
popularity
there was some
pretty
stuff, but it
drastically.
was like minor ish stuff to the point.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like for instance, the tattoo thing. I think the tattoo thing was known, but they did. I think essentially what a lot of people did when the tattoo story broke, they was kind of just like, oh well, he was drunk and got it when he was like in his early 20s, so maybe he just didn't know. You know what I mean? So, and that was kind of my take on the tattoo thing too. Like, I it definitely gave me pause, but I wasn't full on like, oh, I'm off the train with him and stuff. But like, I think the thing for me was the Black Rock mercenary thing.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of the thing where I was like, hey, bro, it's being in the military. Most people join the military. I'm not one of them leftists who be like, oh, if you was in the military, you're just flat out evil. I'm like,
Right.
bro,
Yeah.
some people need to go to
Yeah. That's
college,
not
dog. Like,
realistic.
yeah, like that. Some people just need to go to college. It is what it is. A lot of people who be saying that was just old Tumblr edgy people. You know what I'm saying? So
I
I didn't
mean,
care about him being in the military, but finding out that after the military he signed up for BlackRock and became a mercenary. I'm like, all
right.
right, bro, I don't know what this.
It was like, okay, yeah, you doing this for the
Like,
love of the game at this point.
yeah, because like it'd be different if you re-enlisted, but you just straight up was like, we doing mercenary 2 days. Like, I'm like, hey, bro, I don't know about that one, bro. Like, it's hard to
Yeah, there
defend
was
that one. That's crazy.
yeah, there was one streamer I was watching. He was like, yeah, there's only two types of people who join the military. Okay, niggas who's trying to get ahead and the psychotic motherfuckers who just want.
Yeah.
But shoot, man, so we coming about like 10 more minutes, and I wanted to get your take. I heard some. Well, I didn't hear a lot of takes, uh, but India Arie, she recently,
Oh
said her
yeah.
piece about the Spit That song. So, what's
Right.
what's your take on that?
So that one is interesting, right? Because granted, I didn't find appreciation for NDRE until later in my life. Obviously, I'd heard her song before because I was a child during the 2000s, but obviously, I didn't know who the hell she was singing them. So, at, I really appreciate NDRE's music and the type of messages she was pointing out and everything. And even in her post, I understood what she was trying to say. However, I will say, and I guess this is kind of why like artists need PR and like, you know, press training and stuff like that, because somebody on her team should have wrote that message before she wrote it on Threads, because I think where some of the issues came, especially because she tried to clean it up later with the whole, oh, I never told anybody to boycott the song. I think the problem is in the specific wording of her post. And I don't have it here in front of me, but from what I remember of the wording, she says, she said something about like how the celebration of that song in particular lets me know that people don't want to be free. And I think that's where she messed up. Because instead, I feel like if she had just did a blanket statement about, oh, there were a lot of things shown at the BET Awards today that let me know that people don't want to be free. That to me is generic enough where where you could get away now, even if she was thinking of that song in particular, she could have got away with saying that. But I think the reason why it turned into such a war on social media was like, oh, because you called out that girl and that song in particular. You know what I mean? And at that point, that's where it becomes like, even though I don't personally think so, I think that's where people start to feel elitist. Is just like, oh, they feel that she's being elitist because it's like, oh, why are you picking on this girl in particular and everything, and like, this song is just being like, you got to get the whole argument of why do you hate fun, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I feel like, she just needed to word it better, but B, when it comes to the song itself, it's not my favorite song, but I can't deny that it's catchy either.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the messaging, yeah, the messaging is not great to go around scamming and robbing. Obviously, is bad, but the way I feel with all forms of music, television, art, there are bad things put on TV and in music and stuff and in video games. Where it comes to though is you don't want your kids scamming and robbing and shit. Raise them, you know what I mean? And be aware of the environments they're in. I think at the end of the day, parenting should be done by the fucking parents. If you don't want your kids going up scamming and robbing, and you're afraid that song is going to do something, either prevent them from listening to the song, which is not going to happen, by the way. I mean, the internet exists, they're going to find it regardless, or do what a normal person does, sit them down and talk to them about the song. Not in a full-on lecture, but pretty much be like, hey, that's wrong, and if I catch y'all doing it, y'all gonna get in trouble. That's it. Raise your fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like that's like all the people who was like, oh, Call of Duty causes school shootings. Not if you raise your fucking kid, it don't. My mama raised
Right.
me. I played Call of Duty, and I never fucking tried the fifth prestige on my classmates. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Dude,
So
I mean, if anything, if anything, that's just military propaganda to try to get kids to sign up for the military.
right. But
But
I'm
yeah,
interested
like
with your take.
yeah, I mean, I'm a little conflicted. I mean, like just like how you feel, like yeah, as a general message, I saw nothing wrong with it. I mean, but I guess it was just what made people get so caught up was just the fact that she name dropped that song in
Right.
particular.
Exactly.
So I think people got lost in the weeds because I've seen a lot of good points. Don't listen to Trick Daddy's response if you if you care to have your
Oh,
sanity.
oh
But
Jesus. Oh,
nah, cause he just hurled insults at India basically, which I'm like, all right, that ain't cool. But yeah, like I think people just got caught up in the weeds because she mentioned that song in particular. Because a lot of
mhm.
people had, some good points. Like, well, shit, where where was you at when NBA YoungBoy was shooting people at? Like,
Right.
you speaking up
Or
because
like
of Young
during a
Miami?
lot of the rappers from
Like,
her area, from her era. Not all of them rappers. I know sometimes people like to glamorize the 2000s and shit. Not all the rappers were soul Clarions, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of
oh no, they were
goofy,
definitely. I
crazy
mean,
motherfuckers back then too. Like, hey,
hold on. Oh, damn it, this clock.
hell, Annie Up came out during when she was hot. You know what I mean? Like what y'all think Annie Up about? Annie Up was talking about carjacking niggas. Like, so like I can understand that aspect as well as of like people being like, yo, like why did you not feel this way when a lot of the other degenerate shit like came out during your era, like so I can understand that point too. Like I said, I just think like I said, I think there was a better way she could have worded it, but I do understand what she was attempting to say in terms of like words have power, and
Yeah,
like how it
and I
reflects.
agree with that 100%. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like just like you pointed out, like music. I mean, anything to do with entertainment, like yeah, that's gonna have some power over you,
No, for real.
especially and and I guess like my real concern would be for people who aren't mature enough to understand that most of that is kayfabe. Like
Well, actually,
there's only maybe
apparently in that chick's story, like what's her name, JT. Apparently, like her and like
Mhm.
the other girl she was in that group with, what's it called, the City Girls, right? They was in the City Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. From what I was hearing on like Twitter, apparently they actually lived that shit, like the scabbard shit. Like that was like,
Oh, I mean, I was about to
yeah,
say. I mean, like, listen, like it's probably this amount of artists, especially mainstream ones
yeah,
who are actually about the shit that they spit. But
right,
but when I mean that, I just mean like being able to separate music from life, especially because like as adults, right? Like we can listen to you know I don't know like Scarface or something like that and be like, okay, yeah, like
right,
that's entertaining, but that's not my life. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Whereas like, some teenager or something be like, wow, fucking cool, man. Like,
yeah,
but I mean the world has shit like that, And shout out to India Arie, like she made very empowering music.
mm-hmm.
Taught people how to have love for their natural features.
Right,
So at least I mean, she's walking the talk.
right.
You know what I mean? She's walking the walk with what she's saying. But yeah, like, you know, I think, I guess a lot of the detractors just was like, well, yeah, like why are you only piping up with this song? And like you
Right.
say, Annie up. Cause I was just about to say, I mean, peace be upon him, but shit, DMX was raping motherfuckers in
Yeah,
his
like
music. So I mean
yeah, like it was. Yeah, no, it was. Hell, fucking, what's the fucking Biggie song? Give me the loot. Like I remember the first time I heard that, I'm
give me the
like, good
loot. I'm a
lord.
bad boy.
Yeah. uh,
Little Biggie
but yeah,
been smacking
and I
or
think
something like
also this is also another
that.
case of like a situation happened and people ran 85 different ways about it. Like I was seeing this
Mhm.
people on TikTok saying the craziest shit. Well, hey, first off, listen, I know that this girl has ties to Diddy and shit, and people was mad at her about that.
Mhm.
But people was trying to make it seem like that's the reason India already said some shit. That is not what the fuck she said. She never even mentioned Diddy. That's not the reason why she went after her specifically. Like I'm pretty sure Diddy was the furthest thing on her mind when she wrote what the fuck she wrote. And then, you had other people too trying to like there was somebody who was trying to dissect India Ari's songs, and I was like trying to make it seem like, oh, she had like secretly anti-black women messages and that shit. Like I was like, all right,
Yeah,
god damn
that
it.
was another TikToker that I've seen. Like, cause I was watching this guy just watch like a compilation of responses to it, and I was just like, hold on now, like, especially like what's her most famous song? Like, I am not my
Yeah,
enemy. He's like,
yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you get anti-black sentiments from that? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I would.
so,
Yeah, there was a lot of niggas who was tripping and shit. Like, they was also trying to make it seem like that City Girls girl, like chick. What the hell is her fucking name? Young Miami. Yeah, that's it. They were trying to make it seem like she was like secretly paid off by the Illuminati and shit to make black people go crazy and stuff. I'm like, shut the fuck up, niggas. Oh my god,
yeah,
y'all niggas have
and
schizophrenia.
and that's
Like,
and that's the
like
problem with like, see, like, and that's the problem with like topics like these, like that require nuance, like. See, and because I watched some of what India was saying, like, and there was nothing vitriolic
Right.
she was very respectful about it. But yeah, it's like, but at the same time, you can disagree with her
Right.
and not fly all the way to the left field trying to call her anti-black and stuff like that. Like, cause
Exactly.
yeah,
Or
cause
the
me
same
personally,
thing.
I'm like, oh no,
No,
go
go
say
ahead.
yeah. I ain't fully agree with her,
Right.
but she did, like, at the beginning of the video, she did say, like, listen, if you one of them folks that's like, it's just a song, whatever, cool, yeah, enjoy it, because she wasn't necessarily trying to tell nobody not to enjoy things,
Right.
but yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, I wish the people who disagreed could have, like, disagreed in a more respectful manner. Trick Daddy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and some of the people who agree with her, like I said, was tripping too in terms of like, because like she straight up said I wasn't asking for a boycott of the song, and then there were so
Right.
many people on TikTok who talk about, yeah, I'm glad Indy already said what the fuck she said, because y'all a bunch of dumbass YN motherfuckers anyway, and we need to ban the song. I'm like, nigga, what? That's not what
I'm
she
like,
said.
whoa,
Why are you saying
banning.
that?
That's gonna make
Like,
people want to listen to us more.
and yeah, like you, yeah, I don't know. It's just I think at the end of the day, I'm just tired of Black Civil War shit. Period. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like every time
Like
I
that
see some
that's supposed to
shit
be a
that
civil
divides.
conversation had in house. Like,
Right. Every time I see some shit that's supposed to like that divides black people, I just get tired. I just be like, God damn, like why are we
mhm.
fighting again? Like, nigga, like
Yeah,
you know what I
because
mean?
but but the main but I mean like I said, I guess my disagreement was more so her calling out that song in particular, but I
Right.
agree in general. Yeah, just be more conscious of what you listen to, what you consume.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure. Yeah, yeah. And that was what I was saying earlier. I agreed with that part. Like I said, and I think if she had wrote her threads post of more of a, if she just called out the awards in general, I think she would have been safer. Some people still would have been mad, but like, I think she would have been a bit
mm-hmm.
safer with what she said. And I think where the issue became is when she called out that song in particular and then related it to people not wanting to be free. I think that's what ticked a lot of people off because they was like, yo, we're having fun with this song in particular. Most people know it is for fun. And I think
Right.
that's where people got a bit mad because they was like, yo, why are you making it seem like we got a slave mindset listening to a fun song? You know what I mean? Like, there's this sort of argument happens amongst black people every like 3 years, just depending on whatever the fuck it is that's out at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, you know, famously, the biggest one of my lifetime will always be, oh, Medea and Tyler Perry makes black people look bad, and fucking Paul Mooney and fucking Spike Lee was crying about the fucking movies and shit. So like that was like the most famous one of my lifetime. But there's always something that comes up that sparks this fucking debate of like, can black people have fun or should we be serious all the fucking time? I think we were having some of our discussions earlier. Moderation is always the best way to go. It's like, yeah, we do need to be woke and we do need to keep our heads on swivels and stuff like that. But also at the same time, listen, I'm gonna watch Medea run across the screen and yell "hilarious" 85 times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need something to laugh at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
can't be
Yeah.
on guard 24/7, dog. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. That I will die if I have to do that. Like, not everything needs to be a highbrow comedy or like highbrow
Mm-hmm.
like introspective stuff. Like sometimes I want to turn my brain off and laugh at some shit or turn the fuck up. As much as I listen to J.
Right.
Cole
Yeah.
and shit, hey, every once in a while I gotta throw on some future. You know, I may
But,
not sip
but
lean,
that's
but
the
I can
thing.
pretend
Like,
I do.
even but even J. Cole will turn up every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. So I don't. I mean, yeah. Like, case in point. watch what you listen to.
Right.
If you have children or young people in your life, sit them down, let them know, hey,
Yes.
just understand what you're listening to and what they're saying.
Right. Yes.
You're
Raise your children.
you're
Don't
from
expect the phone to.
like you're from Roswell. You're not from Bankhead. All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
calm
Listen, listen. All right. Sometimes, there's a lot of black people in the suburbs, me being one of them. We all got to get that talk every once in a while. Hey, bruh,
down.
you don't got no text under the bed, dog.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. But hey, I think that's a perfect place to chill out. This has been another dope Wednesday evening with the SOS crew. We got Tenzin, we got me, B over here, our brother Los, always another part of the show. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. If y'all watch this episode, please like it, do the ratings, all that other shit, share it around. Head to our YouTube pages, head to our IG pages. Show the What They Want podcast some love. Show, why am I blanking on
The
Danny's
raw
name?
recovery,
Yeah, Raw Recovery
the raw recovery
podcast.
community.
Yup. Show them some love. Our sister been blowing up on that damn channel, yo. That channel's doing great. Yeah, please, show us some more love. Invite your friends. 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday nights. We out.
Peace.